Ever been spat on to the point that you have to contemplate your life choices? If not, these Kog'Maw changes might do that finally for you. Because on the PvE, there are some changes to Kog'Maw's Caustic Spittle, where the AP ratio is being increased from 50% to 70%, and then the Living Artillery, our AP ratio, is being increased from 25% to 35%. Now, all jokes aside, the reason why I'm making this video is it kind of reminds me of an olden day of AP Kog'Maw. Now, if you weren't around in, say, Season 5, when a bunch of different AD carries were still mainly in the bottom lane, some AD carries started making their way mid lane, like Varus, Corki after like the AD carry rework, and he kind of never went back to the bottom lane. We didn't even get to give him like a goodbye party or anything proper. That's unfortunate. But the Trinity Force changes, like Graves used to be a bot lane AD carry, now he's just been a jungler forever. And Kog'Maw was a champion who you would still play bottom and like protect the comps back when Jugger Kog'Maw and like, or the Jugger Maw is specifically called, the ggGetJinxed when Kog'Maw got nerfed and stuff like that. But there's a specific build for Kog'Maw that would see him go into the mid lane, and that was the AP Kog'Maw build. Now granted, this isn't a complete reversal of those AP ratios specifically. Back then what the issue would be then is Rylai's Crystal Scepter was also a bit more of a nightmare than it is now. So you would build that item on Kog'Maw, and even if you couldn't kill enemy champions on the Rift, you might be able to slow them down and pick them. So the difference between wanting like an AP Kog'Maw versus a Varus in your mid lane would be the poke and then the utility that Kog'Maw would provide with his Living Artillery. So like, even though you might shoot the R out and you might slow some people but they're not gonna die, it might, you know, make the top laner like a Maokai flanking or something more easier of a job for them to go and catch them, especially when it was old Maokai and stuff like that, but even new Maokai with his ultimate and stuff. That was the idea when you would form a composition around having AP Kog'Maw. On top of that, with his ratios, they were just actually really powerful, so it kind of allowed that champion to kind of exist in that state for a bit until they nerfed it. In which case, if we go back in time to patch 522, and we scroll all the way down to Living Artillery, you'll see right here in the middle, the AP ratio was reduced to 25% AP from 30% AP. And if we actually go back to this change, it's being increased from 25% AP to 35% AP. So this will actually be a stronger version than it was back here in patch 522 when it had to be nerfed. Amongst other things, if you go into Season 6, it did exist into Season 6 for quite some time too. There was an AP ratio on the Q, which is the Caustic Spittle as well. And it's something that still kind of exists a little bit to this day. It was also a little bit of like Bio Arcane Barrage having, you know, ratios and stuff like that. Them switching it from like missing health and some other things as well. Here's Living Artillery got another change in patch 621, in which case if we scroll down to Living Artillery, the maximum damage implemented at 150, 210, and 270 plus 70 or 97% and a half bonus AD and 37.5 AP. Now, what does this mean for AP Kog'Maw? As someone who admittedly was something of an AP Kog'Maw player, well, the reason, and we actually did a video about this in 2016, it's been that long, I'm that old and still that irrelevant. But with that being said, we did a video because the idea that Riot had at the time was AP Kog'Maw was literally too toxic for the game of League of Legends. It was really just unfun and unfair to play against, and the only fun was playing as it. And so if they're doing these changes, one of two things. One, Kog'Maw could be in a severely deficited spot that he would need some changes that maybe could help with some alternative builds. Especially because Kog'Maw is something that likes to kind of build mixed builds. So if we go to a site like, say, Champion Lollytics, let's look up Kog'Maw. Let's see how Kog'Maw's doing right now. So we'll go to tier list just because that'll be an easy way to get there. We'll go bot. Kog'Maw is probably somewhere here, right? Here's Kog'Maw. Let's look at Kog'Maw right now, right? His ban rate's pretty low. His pick rate's pretty low. His win rate is actually at 52% win rate. But the pick rate is at almost like a little less than 2%, meaning that he has that possibly because he's not in a lot of games and possibly because a lot of things that counter him also aren't strong. There's probably other data to get into that we're not going to make this video too much longer to go into. But if we look at his builds, sure enough, there's a lot of mixed damage builds right now. So this isn't necessarily a buff specifically for AP Kog'Maw. What this could do is empower his already existing build and maybe make him a bit more of an appealing pick. Right now, you can make the argument looking at certain just AD carries in general. If we go back to the bot lane by going back right here with the back button, it's not working. Here we go, back button, right? Some of these top 80 carries are not really the hyper carries, according to at least this one specific website. And to keep it simple, we'll just keep it to this specific website, by the way. Feel free to comment with like other websites and stuff in the comments below, right? We have Ezreal, Vayne, Miss Fortune, Caitlyn, Yasuo, I guess, but like Draven, right? We have a couple lane bullies like Miss Fortune and Draven. We do have like some long range AD carries like Caitlyn and stuff like that, and some hyper carries like Vayne and whatnot, but not really the immobile kind, right? Like Caitlyn and Vayne aren't the most maybe mobile champions, but they are somewhat mobile over, say, like a Jinx a Kog'Maw, and things like that, who, while they are doing well all in their own self, they're not maybe as appealing as they could be, right? Pro play has started, at least for China right now, and in China they're still picking things like Aphelios and Ezreal and stuff like that. So what this change could ultimately be at the bottom end of the day is just a change to try and make certain champions more appealing without making them super strong, because they are kind of strong right now. And by buffing this, what you do is you do enable AP Kog'Maw, which is a lesser kind of build like play style, but also kind of somewhat buff the mixed damage without making it too insane, because you're not targeting both AD and AP ratios. But this could be an insane change for at least the ultimate and the hands of like the OG AP Kog'Maw players, because you're actually getting more AP back on the Living Artillery, for example, than you had before. And the Cosmic Spittle actually is like a high kind of ratio for AP as well. So right, when does AP like Marksman Jinx get to be a thing? And I'm not talking like Flame Chompers. It could be Flame Chompers Jinx, fine, but like give me a build where I can do like on hit, like my auto attacks are doing a bunch of magic damage, kind of a build with like, I don't know what, Nashor's Tooth, Rage Blade, Lich Bane, Static Shift, something like that, some kind of nasty like that. When are we getting some Jinx off meta stuff? I'm kidding. I'm not kidding, but I don't think people care. So we're going to end the video there and just say, hey, this is a pretty interesting change I kind of noticed that came out today, and as this video will be out tomorrow, it'll be like only one day. This is up on the PvE, Surrender at 20. Make sure to check out Surrender at 20. Please go support them on Patreon and stuff like that if you have the opportunity. I'll even click on their Patreon so you can see it. I don't think I'm logged in, so you won't be able to see like specific stuff, but like if you want to go support them for even just $1 a month, they deserve it, all the work they do over there, 100%. So please go support them over there, by the way. But that's gonna be all for this video. So thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification, the actual subscribe button. But I don't know which video will be next, because life can have a lot of kinks. So until next time, take care. GG, get jinxed. Thank you for watching, and enjoy pizza responsibly.